Hey guys, this is Frankie, Simply Imaginary People, and just another knitting stream. I want to make some wainscoting, so just this really simple board that goes around halfway along the window because I want to make a bathroom that looks like this picture, I guess. And yeah, just recording myself doing this. So I have already imported an EA counter, another wainscoting that someone made so I know where the end of the wall is here, and a window I want to use so I know which height I want it. So the first thing I'm going to do is press, I'm going to run that program that I found so I don't need to keep telling you what I'm pressing. Find it? No? Yeah, there it is. Huh. So now, yes. Okay. I literally just pressed 5 and 1 on my numpad. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a cube. And I'm just going to move it up so that it's on ground level, which is this red line. And I'm just going to make the counter active so I can see that. And I'm just going to scale it in the Z direction. As you can see, I'm just pressing S and then Z. I'm just going to scale it in Z again, and literally till I get it about the height I want it, which is a tiny bit over counter height. Yeah. Well, actually, that does help. Okay, so that's a tiny bit over counter height. So that's the counter done. It still fits under the window, which is good. Now I'm just going to make it the same scale as this reference. Well, same width, so that it is the width of one square. So that's my reference gone, and now I need the window again, because obviously now I need to, like how it says page down, and then I'm pressing 3. Okay, scale it in the Y direction to make it skinnier, because I obviously don't need it really super fat. Where's my reference? So I can probably see from the side that it's not going to fit under the window frame bit. So it's still covering the part of the frame, but I guess I'm just not going to be able to help that. Okay. So now that it has everything size width I need, I can hide all these references. Perfect. So literally all I want is it to have 2 indents. So that's not that hard. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is say how high I want the indent at the top. I think that'll do. Oh, maybe a bit higher. That should do, and it has that height at the top, the bottom too. So it's kind of one squarish height. And then the side bits. So obviously, I'm just gonna, make that one so I can see the middle. And then, how wide is it? Not particularly wide. So let's say this. This, and then two side bits. Perfect. Now I'm just going to face select and extend these inwards a bit to make the denty bits. There we go, that was pretty much how to quickly make a baseboard. Okay, so now that that is pretty much done, the main part is UV mapping this. So in fact, this is doing this in German, which is a bit annoying. I'm holding shift, by the way. It says control, but then it says everything else it seems to be in German. So Umschalt seems to be shift. Mark seams. And then mark the seams on this. We'll get to the point of why I'm actually streaming this really simple object in a minute. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Mark seam. Right, and then go, forgot to do object, apply rotation and scale. Now it turned inside out, if you can see, don't know why. It's like this weird grey colour, that just means inside out, so I'm just going to go to shading, flip the direction of my normals, you can see it goes back to being normal. I'm just considering that I do want it a bit different. Just wanted a bit fatter. Decided. Okay. Right, and now I'm just going to U and unwrap it again. Right. So, this is the front bit. These are the two inside bits. No, that looks like the inside bit. I'm guessing that's the back then. Okay. So now that it's unwrapped, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check out which bit is which. So this seems to be this side. It seems to be that I need to select this part and rotate it sideways. And then just move these apart. Okay, so this should now be the top, which it is, which is good. That's also the top of this. Is this the top? Yes, that's the top of that one. And that's the top of that one. Good. Okay. So now the thing is, I'm obviously in game going to put these next to each other. So here's one and then the next one. So I need the texture to go seamlessly from here pretty much across over there. So to do that, first of all I'm going to save space, which means that this has exactly as a duplicate of this one. So I can put these on top of each other actually. And To make sure that they fit perfectly, I'm going to put on the magnet tool and set to vertex. I'm literally just going to go like this and it will snap my vertices. I'm not stretching it very much because the vertices are pretty close to each other in the first place. If they weren't, I wouldn't do it like this because I'm literally stretching the texture. But they are. Right, so that saves me space. Now, undo the magnet. This bit is the back, no one's going to see it, it's going to be near the wall, so I can make that pretty small and just move it out of the way. This is the main part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an image. So this is a 4x4 square, and if I make the tiling in TSRW 4, then each one of these squares is going to be the pattern, which is a seamless pattern. So what I can do is, if I make it 4x4, is I can pretty much stick this in the middle square, make it the correct size so that it goes from the edge of one to the edge of the next one, so that the pattern will start again. I don't know if that makes any sense to people. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything so I'm scaling at the same time. I'm just going to make it so that it has the width of 2 of these squares-ish. Now it's a bit too fat. This is the side bit, so I want the width of this line to this line to fill this square. So let's just try and get that to work. So like this square to this square. Okay, so it needs to be quite a bit small. Now it needs to be a bit bigger. Right, that works pretty well. That is perfectly on that line, and that is too. So now theoretically, the pattern will start here on this line, which I put on sync, is start on this line, which is the outer bit. The pattern will go all the way across here to the middle, and another pattern will go here, and then theoretically, the next part, because it's a duplicate, will start here again. So literally at the beginning of a black pattern. I need to make the tiling 4x4 for this to work, obviously, or 8x8 or anything that's a multiple of 4, otherwise it won't work. But it should make for a seamless texture. Now, I need to squish everything else in the spaces around it. See if that fits. No, it doesn't. So the other thing I can do is, instead of putting it in the center bit, I can move it up into a corner. It doesn't need to be too seamless towards the top, so I can line the top up with whatever I want. It just needs to be side to side seamless. Make sure we're on the line. Under there. Obviously I've got the problem that this one bit here is in the wrong place, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unsync this, select these, and edge split to split this part off, which now means that I should be able to select like this. Select these faces and say G. Oops, I didn't edge split. edge split because I've got an edge split all the way around. Now maybe it'll like me. Yes, okay, now I've got this bit. Face select. Okay, now I can say G, X, and just move it. So it was on the back end of, oops, of a bit, so I need to go all the way to like here. So you can see it was like here, so just bordering on a black bit and then a white bit. So I've just moved it pretty much to the side so it's still where it was before. That means that this texture will still go seamlessly around the edge if I do a 4x4 texture or anything above it, so 8x8. Now this obviously still doesn't really fit in, but I can say rotate. I'm gonna actually rotate -90 because this will be its own channel, so rotating it isn't an issue because I can rotate object bits in TSRW. And I'll just move this back part. There we go. Now I'm just going to turn off all my references so that they don't bake onto my texture and go to Image, New Image, 2048 by 2048. Oh wait, put sync on, off. Turn on lighting and bake. You'll see when I move this over here, I pressed G and then X. If you do that, it'll only move along this axis, which means I won't change the height of it, which is good because I want the texture to still flow. So I'm just going to bake this. I forgot to turn up my samples. That's why it has such a shitty texture. This takes a while. So yeah, I just have to remember in TSRW to turn this texture 90 degrees so that it flips back upwards, because I flipped it -90, so 90 degrees counterclockwise, so I need to turn it 90 degrees clockwise, the texture in TSRW. The annoying thing about TSRW is even if you tell it to turn the texture 90 degrees, it won't show it in TSRW, it will only show it in game, so you've got to test in game if you did it right. Just wait for this to finish baking. Right, you can see it's just a really, really simple wainscoting, kind of like that one. I didn't want anything more detailed because I want the house to be more clean and modern. Okay, now I'm going to save this image. Wainscoting 2. And make a shadow for it. So you can see that because these are two identical pieces and I put them on top of each other, they have exactly the same shading, which obviously they would anyway because they're identical. But it saved me a lot of space on my UV map not to have two of these next to each other. Right, now, shadow. So create a plane. 3 to show this angle, rotate 90. No, I've got to flip it that way, so I've got to say rotate minus 90 and move it behind. Okay, I'm going to edit mode, unwrap that, open my shadow image, wonderful, scale it down, and I want it to have a dark square shadow. There we go, perfect. Now all I'm going to do, make sure I'm centered over this square, which I'm not. Okay. Just going to center this. There we go. Right, now I'm just going to scale it. Kind of so that has the same distance on all sides ish. That should do, perfect. Now file, export to wavefront object, to a selection only, object as object groups. Load the image. Nope, that was yesterday's. Nope, oops, just loaded the 3D object instead of the image. Always very smart. Crashed it. Import. Right. Awesome. Got that done. Just open Photoshop again. Now actually open the image. Okay, so adjustment to that minus 15. Make a new layer for underneath. Perfect. So that can be 2m, the multiplier. And then this bit needs to be its own channel, so this gets FFFF00. And the rest of it gets red. Because this doesn't have much detail, it really doesn't need to be that big. Right. Awesome, now I'm going to import an object. And I'm going to use a end table because I want slots. Right. Let's try and find a base game one, even though I couldn't tell you at all which one was base game. And because it doesn't matter, I'll just take any one. Okay, so the shadow group is the top group. So that is group 1, and that is group 0. Delete all materials, export. Doesn't need bones because it's pretty much a deco or standing item, but we'll just be good and assign bones. So select the two groups. I just imported an object that has the F001, that's the decor doesn't move bone. Just assign it. Now you can see it's assigned. Export this as 2A. Then delete this, rename this to group 0. It's so low poly that I am not going to reduce it even more. So 2A lot. You can see the poly count in here. If I go onto it, is 124. So, right, now import. You can see my shadow is obviously way too big, so I'll fix that in a minute. Import to a lot. Okay. Let's go to my shadow. And I'm just going to scale it on here a good bit bigger. And now try, so. Do it again. Let's see. Group 1. Group 0. Select both of them and assign the F1 bow. 001 bow. Nope, didn't want to export this text. Right. Let's see if the shadow looks better. Way better, even though it looks kind of weirdly circular for the fact that it's supposed to be square. Theoretically, the shadow is square. It just looks circular, which is very weird. Well, I'm going to leave it. I don't know how that's in game, I'll have to check that. Import to M. Yes, I want to use that height of my multiplier. I need to import a proper specular. No, I don't want to use the scale of my specular map, I want to keep the scale of my multiplier. Again, no. That is already empty, good. That weird glowy bit, I don't know what that is at the moment, so I'm just going to go to mesh. And make sure that's all correct. That should just be black. Glowy bit has also gone. Right. So, now to show you textures. So, I need a texture that has an obvious direction and obvious pattern. That one's pretty good, maybe. But you can't really see top and bottom. Maybe do the abstract ones, they usually have good directions. Okay, yeah, this one. It hangs down in droplets. First of all, you'll see now it's really wide. And I said I needed to do it at least 4-4. You'll see the droplets are hanging down, and you'll also see that, can't really see, it is seamless along this edge. even though I moved the that texture part over here, because I still did it within the pattern duplicates. So it should all be perfectly seamless now. 4-4 is a good size, so I will make the inside bit 4-4-2. I don't need the last color because I don't have it, and now I can pick color. Shit, crashing. Press cancel if it crashes on you, cancel everything, and say export to Sims 3 pack, and export it. Then close it down and open it again. This way you don't actually lose what you're working on, even though TSRW likes to crash. Right. Now I can import that back. Good. Oh, my screen's died on me again. I'll be right back. Really, I don't know. I have a faulty connection between my GPU and my screen, so often my screen just goes completely and utterly black. You know, just to piss me off. Right, I really don't want that texture, obviously. So let's go for this darky blue grey that's in the picture. And as well, I don't need to recolor it in game. Export the color. Kind of, it'll do. There we go. Very simple baseboard. Wainscoating. Wainscoating to A. By simply imaginary people. People. Might be useful to spell your name right. I'm just going to make this cost 5. And it's in end tables, which is fine. And now delete all the textury colors that I don't want. Right, perfect. Medium level of detail still in there. Do the shadows. Lighting, again, I usually just delete the lights. Slots. First of all, from mesh, calculate the slot. And you'll see it calculates the slot. And I'm just going to say that allow intersection objects, walls, sims, and objects of the same size and stairs are allowed to intersect my object, because it's going to be on the wall, so it's just better if stuff can go through it as well. Container entries. Now I've got my deco slots. So these I just need to move. Just so that I can maybe have some small bits of deco items on the top here. So you're just going to delete all the other ones. And then just say duplicate. Makes my life easier. and then drag it to that direction. There you go, and I've just got 3 small slots on top of it. Good, I have a name, I have price, I have tags, I have lighting done, slots done, mesh done, textures pretty much done. Oh, remember I said I had to turn the texture, so the second texture, which is the inner one, needs to be turned 90 degrees. Nearly forgot about that. Now I'm done. Right, object, well, I'll leave it as a shelf. Simply good. Now open that. Make sure I don't have random images in there. That's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's not mine. Delete that. And there we go. Clean that up. Right, good. Now, theoretically, this will only go to the edge of a wall, so if I do it around a big corner, it's not going to do much. So I kind of want it to stick out a bit on the edges, maybe. So if it's like on the edge of a wall that goes like this, it won't look too weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make duplicate versions of it. So I'm going to right click this and say Shift D and Shift D. That means I've made 3 copies of it. And now I'm going to select these 3 faces and pull them out so they have about the width of this ish. And then so that the texture also has that. Oops. Nope. It's select. There we go. Just going to also move these out. About double it. Right, so that's the one edge, so that can be like this and that. This shadow also needs to go out a bit. Well, actually, I don't want it to. Maybe I do. Do I not? There we go. So, export to wavefront object to B. Right, now the third one. Which I want this side to come out. Oh yeah. Forgot that that doesn't stretch. I just realised I did it wrong for the other one. Wait a minute. I stretched this bit instead of this bit, so I actually need to stretch was this, because this is the bit that got fatter. There we go. So now, the good thing is that if I look at the texture here, this is all just grey, so I don't really need to edit my texture very much, because it all has the same colour. So I can use the same texture for all of it. Right, so that one's done. Now open the third cube and the third plane. And now this one. So to deselect that edge and that part, and then I can move it out. Right, now theoretically the issue is that this part now needs to, as you can see, I am literally going off of the UV map. This isn't actually a problem, because if it goes off this UV map, it'll take this part of the UV map. So it's like if you layer the UV maps next to each other, then it'll just take the texture like a grid. So it'll take this part, which, because everything is, as I said, grey, is perfectly fine. And this part, to keep it seamless, I then need to move to the side one bit as well. Okay, and now just do the same thing with the texture and then spread it out a bit. Right. I could save this and export this as 2C. Oh yeah, what I also wanted to make sure was that my wainscoting is base game compatible, which it is, because it says, if I go to object, it says 0 times 0, 0, 0. If there's a number at the front of this, then I need to change that number to make it base game compatible, but it has for object with a K and the object with a D 0, so that's good. So just going to close that and reopen it so it doesn't crash. Right, and now import this. So 2B, group 1, group 0, select both groups, give it a joint, file export, 2B, and then file export 2B load. Now I can import it again. Right. Import 2B. And import 2B load. I need to change the shadow. I am not planning on changing the footprint so that it keeps the same footprint, because it's only just got a bit wider, and I don't mind if the sim walks through that bit, because otherwise it's going to block quite a bit. So then I need to change the name of it. Texture is still all the same, although I'm going to make sure that the entirety of the texture is the same color just by deleting all of this. Oh, oops. Still got the small size. I need to go back to it being big. There we go. Now I know all that area is just grey. Yes, I do want to replace the old one. Right, perfect. Now I've got like an edge. That's all still correct. That's still correct because I changed it. Okay. To make sure it doesn't overwrite the first one, I am going to say renumber second instance. Let it renumber and then export it to B. Then reload. It's always good to reload in the middle because TSO Workshop hates you and will probably crash on you all the time. I just want to show you that even though I pulled this bit off the texture, it's still going to work. Right. Oh, I need to actually do it first, don't I? Group 1, Group 0, Bones, 2C, that one, that's Group 0, 2C, Blood. Right, okay, so 2C. As you can see, we're not mixing texture, we have this white line that I need to fix. Import 2C LOD. Fix that white line in a minute, but you can see it just pretty much takes the texture of the next part. Not actually quite sure why it has that white line, because none of my textures do. Have to check if that appears in game. Slots all the same, well that's the same. So yeah, I'm just going to export this first of all. And then test it in game. The main point of this was just to show you pretty much how to make something have a seamless texture by working within the constraints of the repeating pattern, so the tiling. And I use this for a couple of things. So you've seen my last basket or crib, and I'll show you in a minute. Nope. Just run that through there. Save that. I will open that basket crib. Right. So this is the LOD one. Let's find the actual one. So if I show you this, what I did here is you can see that the UV of the basket pretty much goes exactly from one corner of my UV map to the other corner of my UV map. And because I did that, it makes the texture seamless, because it pretty much goes from here, stops here, and then starts again here. So if a pattern ends here, it'll start again here and go once around. So the seam line is actually here, the edge. But because I made the texture seamless by using the entire width of the UV, this line is actually in the end seamless. And that's pretty much the way to, oops, don't know if I can, yeah. And what I did when I was texturing it, I also made sure that I used a seamless texture and made sure that the texture repeated exactly, stopped here and started here. And that way I just don't have a seam line here. And that's pretty much how I make my texture seamless, because it just looks a lot nicer than if you have weird lines all over your mesh. So yeah, just turn that off again. So that was just pretty much a relatively long, actually, tutorial on me meshing and how to make things seamless.